Now we want to take you to Capitol Hill, where One America's Trey Yingst has more on this story.
Good evening from Washington. We are following breaking news tonight. Orders by President Trump to launch more than 50 strikes on a Syrian government airbase. This is the first major strikes ordered by President Trump since the new administration came into office. We are learning more details about what unfolded tonight from the Situation Room at the White House to the Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida, where President Trump is currently with the president of China. Tonight, we are learning from the White House that Vice President Mike Pence was sitting in the Situation Room. He was on the phone with certain congressmen and other senior level administration officials when these strikes were called by those two U.S. destroyers in the Mediterranean. The missiles were fired, striking the airbase in Syria that the alleged chemical weapons attack at the hands of Bashar al-Assad was launched from on Tuesday. We saw President Trump on Wednesday from the Rose Garden of the White House alongside King Abdullah of Jordan, strongly condemning this chemical weapon attack by Bashar al-Assad. Additionally, tonight he was speaking from his resort in Mar-a-Lago, saying this. He was calling on the international community to come together to end the bloodshed in Syria. He went on to say that the strikes tonight on that Syrian airbase were in the best interest of American security. The president campaigned on an America First platform tonight, putting the interests of the American people and civilians around the world first, launching these airstrikes on the Syrian base where these chemical weapons originated from. What we are learning about these 59 Tomahawk missiles that were fired at the Syrian airbase, they were fired from two U.S. ships, the USS Porter and also the USS Rose. Now, this is information we are receiving tonight from the Pentagon. Additionally, the Pentagon saying that Russia and other countries were notified of this strike before it took place. We know that there are a number of countries currently fighting in Syria, not necessarily alongside Bashar al-Assad's troops, for or against them, but also in the international coalition to defeat and destroy the Islamic State just outside of Raqqa, Syria. Tonight, those strikes taking place just east of Homs, Syria, and we are following the situation. Before I finish here, I want to leave you with the words of the president tonight from Mar-a-Lago saying, "Good night, God bless America and the entire world." From what we know, this is just the first message that the Trump administration would like to send to our enemies around the globe, that attacks on innocent civilians will not be tolerated by the United States of America.
Trey, Mike Deneau here. Trey, you're on Capitol Hill every day. You're in the White House. You're at these press briefings. Did you get a sense from Spicer or anybody else around that this was going to happen this evening?
On Wednesday, from the Rose Garden of the White House, President Trump appeared before King Abdullah of Jordan. You could see on his face that he had seen earlier in the day the images of the innocent women and children who were killed or injured by this cowardly attack by Bashar al-Assad using illegal chemical weapons, sarin gas, on civilians who could not defend themselves. And you could see that President Trump had seen those images, and he came out before that podium, before the American and Jordanian media, and he was soft-spoken, saying that the United States needed to take some sort of action. Now, we didn't know what that action would be. We were getting the sense from our sources within the White House and at the Pentagon that the White House was considering both economic and military action. Obviously, tonight, a result of those airstrikes, the United States and President Trump decided to go with the military action in the region, and our allies were notified of that before it took place.
Trey, U.S. launching more than 50 missiles tonight. Any sense, do we think this is a one-time launch? We've set our piece on this, or do you think this may be the calm before the storm?
Well, this certainly could be the calm before the storm, but I think the next move lies in the hands of Bashar al-Assad. Does he receive the message of President Trump that was sent tonight by sending those strikes to that Syrian government airbase, or does he continue with these attacks on Syrian civilians using chemical weapons that have been outlawed by the United Nations? I think the Trump administration is going to assess the strikes that occurred tonight just east of Homs, Syria. They're going to see how effective they were. They will speak with their allies around the globe. But the president has been very clear about why he ordered these strikes tonight from Mar-a-Lago in Florida. he was focused on a meeting with the president of China there. This issue of the Syrian government striking civilians this week really came up on the president's radar pretty suddenly. And he immediately responded saying that this is unacceptable behavior. Very quickly, the White House and Press Secretary Sean Spicer came out before the media saying these attacks on civilians were, quote, heinous and, quote, reprehensible. I think tonight the president of the United States, President Trump, has sent his message to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, and the next move lies in the hands of those leaders in the Syrian government.